Alright, so for this last video I'm going to combine Term of Art with Senior Investment because they're both so bad. I'll start with Senior Investment. Okay, one of the tools I like to use to eliminate horses that are too slow. Everything starts with speed figures, on the dirt especially. So we've got Senior Investment. He's in the brown here. So in DRF Formulator, click. Notice how he's about 10 points below everybody else. So yeah, he's too slow. I'm getting him confused with Term of Art. Yeah, he's just very slow. But let's dig in here to him regardless to see if he can, fill out the superfecta even in the super high five. Senior Investment. Alright. So he's already earned plenty of money. He won the Lexington Stakes. So I looked at his, because he was so slow, and I think I watched his last two races in graded stakes company to see how he performed. So in the Louisiana Derby, he was no threat the whole time. It was a closer favoring Flow, and this horse is a closer. He projects to be right here, number 8. This is at the half-mile marker of the Preakness. He's going to be back here with Looking at Lee, Multiplier, and this is Term of Art, Gunnevera, hence the other closers. They're all going to have a tough trip if this. I think it will be a soft pace. I'm sure Conquest Mo Money is going to be out there. This guy's going to be out there. I don't think Cloud Computing's fast enough to be out there. I don't think this is accurate. I think he'll try and maybe be right in here on Classic Empire's hip, but he's not going to be duking it out with Always Dreaming. So, back to Senior Investment. In this race, there was a closer favoring Flow, meaning there was a lot of early speed, need to lead types that couldn't get it done. Fast early pace. He was the only next out winner of this race. A horse named Gervin won this race as the heavy favorite. Later got a quarter crack, and they still ran him in the Derby. He was running in water and everything. Any normal race or whatever, they wouldn't have ran the horse, but they really wanted to run him in the Derby for some reason. I don't know. Patch, the one-eyed horse that ran in the Derby, came in second in this race, beating him. He failed the final 3 furlong test very, very poorly at the 9 furlong distance, so he's going to have trouble getting 9.5 today. Alright, so he went off at 12-1. They bring him over here to the Lexington Grade 3. He got another closer favoring Flow here, but this time he was able to capitalize on it. And I think Channing Hill gave him an outstanding ride in this race as well. He just hugged the rail and then tipped him out and timed it perfectly to win by a head over the two heavy favorites, No Dozing and I think it was West Wing or West, race number 9. Senior Investment over West Coast and No Dozing. Yeah, so those two. What was really telling in this race was the ground loss. West Coast covered 44 feet more than Senior Investment, and that's because Channing Hill rode the rail perfectly. So he actually ran 8 times 5 is 40. He ran 8 lengths further than Senior Investment because he was so wide compared to Senior Investment. And No Dozing didn't lose quite as much ground, but he failed as well as the heavy favorite, I want to say. Let's pull up the chart. Yeah, No Dozing failed as the favorite here, then came back and lost in the Pat Day Mile on Derby Day. So he's not much. He failed as a favorite in the Pat Day Mile as well. So West Coast is probably the horse I would want out of this race, but he ran 40 feet more. So he's going to be facing Corey Lannery today on Looking at Lee, and they're both going to be shooting for the rail. He's the 8 horse. Corey Lannery's the 9. So they're both going to be. There's going to be a lot of congestion back here, and somebody's going to get hung out wide and not going to get to save all the ground more than likely. So it's going to be even tougher for the closers in this race. So we come back. So I gave him basically, as Andy Byer would say, no shot. I gave him an X and a 9.0, meaning he's not going to come in better than 6, in my opinion. At least that's the way I'm going to bet. I always try to bet a little to make a lot. And to do that, you got to bet your opinion, and I don't like him. So then we come to Term of Art, the other 30-1 shot. He's putting blinkers on today, but it's not the first time. He's tried blinkers in the past. You can see that's what these B's are right here. Actually started off with blinkers. Finally won this race against some very weak competition. I'm not going to dig in there. Just know that it was very weak. And so, looking at his last 2 races where he ran in, graded competition, probably because they paid $220,000 for him. And let's see how much he's earned. He's earned $170K because of he came in 3rd in this race, the San Felipe, which probably paid out, what do you get for coming in 3rd? I don't know. $48,000 plus 10 points towards the Derby, apparently, or something. So he came in 3rd there. Oh, he won this. I got rained off as a 2-year-old. $100,000. So that pumped up his earnings quite a bit. But I'll go ahead and dig into that race because it's probably worth looking at. That he won the $100,000 race, because what they'll do is they'll write races for these horses that cost $220,000 to help the owners get their money back. So he ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, which is interesting. He got crushed by Classic Empire. So they drop him down here to much softer in it's a Del Mar. Alright, let's see who he beat. So he had a 72 Byer. The horse that went off favorite was Sword Fighter, who had a 80 Byer and a 78 Byer. And none of these horses have gone on to do anything. This is a grade 3. The race he was coming out of with Classic Empire ran a 102 Byer, and that's what these guys are running. So it's very soft competition in this race. He wasn't the heavy favorite, but he got up for $100,000. So looks like the owners might get close to getting their $220,000 back. Which, no comment on that. I'm not going to get on a soapbox. So, here we are. He comes in third in that race, the Santa Anita Derby. I went backwards there and went back to revisit this race. So I need to. San Felipe, this race. Okay. He earns his highest Beyer figure of his life. Comes in third to an amazing horse named Mastery that unfortunately got injured in this race. And had to go off the Derby trail. Otherwise, he would have been the heavy favorite in the Derby. He ran a 105 Beyer in this race. And what happens when the horse is coming behind him, it bumps up the Beyers for everybody else behind him. So that's why he got such a high Beyer. It was just an average pace. There was two next out winners, one of them being Gormley, the other one being somebody in much softer competition. And the reason he was able to get up for third is the other two horses, like Gormley, that was in this race. I think American Anthem might have been. Let's see who else was in here. Race 5. Mastery. Yeah, Iliad. Second. Gormley. Yeah, Gormley basically gave up when they soon realized that there's no way they were going to beat Mastery. So he was able to pick up the pieces late. All right, so he comes into the Santa Anita Derby trying to get some, still trying to get into the Derby, Kentucky Derby. And went off at 90-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, so that was pretty accurate. So, and in here he is, Santa Anita Derby, goes off at 23-1, and ran like it. He got up a little bit to only be beaten 6 lengths by Gormley, but this race came back so slow. The winner ran an 88 Beyer, Gormley, and I think Gormley went on to come in close to last in the Derby. He might have come in. He was beaten like 19 lengths. Let's just pull him up real quick. Here's Gormley, the horse that won. The Kentucky Derby came in 9th, beaten 14 lengths. So that's who beat him. Battle of Midway came in 2nd, which was pretty good because Battle of Midway was up on this very hot pace and was able to hold on. They were flying early, and he was still had enough stamina to hold on for 2nd. So that's why he was a good play to come in to hit the board, like we're going to play Conquest Mo Money today to hit the board, where he projects to get a softer pace to run at, and was a good price in the Derby. One last horrible thing about this horse is how bad he did in the final furlong test. 39 seconds in the final 3 and 13 seconds for the final furlong, and he was all out too. I watched the race trying to get there. So he's off all my tickets and any of my bets. So both number 7, Term of Art, and Senior Investment will not darken my tickets.